All right, everybody, welcome back to Skywatchers Radio, live once again, as always, on the Dark Matter Radio Network and PSN Radio. By the way, guys, for the podcast, and I get asked all the time, how can we listen to the podcast? Well, the show is called Skywatchers Radio. If you go to skywatchersradio.com, it's all there for your listening pleasure. In fact, it's free downloads. Go there right now, check out the website, download all the episodes. Immerse yourself in some Skywatchers episodes that you've never heard before. You will love it. If anything, you're going to come out saying that the other guy is kind of funny, but I'm awesome. You're going to say that for sure.
All right.
Now, Nancy Burns, who's also awesome, by the way, sent me a Skype message a few minutes ago, and she said that, yes, it was Stephen Hawking who made that comment. And, in fact, I have an article here where it says, world-renowned scientist Stephen Hawking believes extraterrestrial life almost certainly exists, and humans should be extremely cautious about this and about interacting with it. And he says, to my mathematical brain, the numbers alone make thinking about aliens perfectly rational, said Hawking, right? But he suggests that aliens might simply raid Earth for its resources and then move on. We only have to look at ourselves and see how intelligent life might develop into something that we wouldn't want to meet, he says. I imagine they might exist in massive ships, having used up all their resources from their planet. Such advanced aliens would perhaps become nomads looking to conquer and colonize whatever planet they could reach.
Does this sound like Independence Day?
Kinda. He concludes that trying to make contact with an alien race is a little too risky. He said, if aliens ever visited us, I think the outcome would be much like when Christopher Columbus first landed in America, which didn't turn out too well for the Native Americans. That's the quote from Dr. Stephen Hawking. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it. Theory of Everything is phenomenal. Watch that movie. It's a great movie. But now we are going to welcome our very good friend, Tim Swartz, onto the show. Tim, welcome to Skywatchers Radio, my friend. How are you? How have you been? It's been so long since we've spoken. Not really. But how are you, my friend?
It seems like, I don't know, weeks.
Months.
Years.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's hours.
That's
hours,
right.
Actually, maybe minutes.
It's been centuries since we have spoken last.
What do you think of this article by Stephen Hawking, this comment by Stephen Hawking? I personally think he's on the money. I think it's a legit, rational way of thinking, but of course I do want to see aliens come down and land on the White House lawn. I want to see something like that one day. I want disclosure, gosh darn it. But what do you think when you read something like that from like a person like Stephen Hawking?
Well, I think he has a good point. You just have to look at our own history on this planet, and any time that you have a more advanced society encroaching on new lands where there's indigenous people who maybe aren't quite ahead of the game, then the indigenous population doesn't hang around for too long. And not by choice, they're soon overwhelmed and taken over and exploited, and if they're not just right out killed, they're assimilated into the society.
Right. Look at the Taino Indians. Remember them? No, you don't. No, you don't. The people, because they've been gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the Spaniards who came over and. Well, they raped and pillaged and took the women and killed the men. That's kind of what happened. And
that's
now
right.
we have
women, rape the land, pillage the women, rape the land.
Something like that.
Oh.
Now, because of that incident, we have what we call Latinos.
Okay.
That's just a little joke, man. It's a little Latino joke.
I don't know how to comment to that.
There is no way to comment to that, my friend.
I'm back to buying a vowel. That just does not.
There you go. So
Latinos,
I think that Stephen Hawking, I think he has a very good point. Myself, I kind of like to think of the universe more along the lines of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
I mean, that's
the way of seeing it.
Yeah, to me, that's how I think the universe probably actually operates. So, I mean, if the Earth is discovered by another species, then the planet will probably be blown out of existence to put in a hyperspace highway. Yeah. So,
of course,
we had 4 eons to go to the council to object.
They had a petition. It went through councils, and when they got stamped and double stamped, and we weren't privy to it. So
yeah, the notice has been hanging up for
we didn't get the memo.
5 centuries now. So I mean, it's your responsibility to keep up with these things, humans. So
it's all our fault. Yeah.
How did you guys like that movie, by the way, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because I remember the series, the
it
old.
Was funny.
It was really funny, the old series. But I love that movie. But what did you guys think?
It was funny.
If I hadn't read the books and I hadn't seen the BBC version of it, then I would have liked it. But I was disappointed in the movie because it kind of went off on its own tangents. But that's a complaint I have with a lot of movies based on books. Is that a movie is a creature all of its own. I mean, it's very rarely are you going to have a movie that's going to follow a book completely. So, but I would love for somebody to do Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that fits a little bit more closely, with the book, whether or not that's possible or not.
Well, here's the thing, though. I remember the old series, and I mean, when I saw the movie, there was a lot of stuff in there that was almost lifted directly from the old series. Mm-hmm. I mean, the way even some of the stuff was shot was very, very similar. And I personally loved Mos Def in this thing. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant.
He was, yeah.
I mean, I think, in fact, I was saying this for a long time, by the way, that I would love to see Mos Def, who played Ford Perfect, or Prefect. Sorry,
Prefect.
Ford Prefect.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to see him maybe be the first American, African American doctor on Doctor Who, because the way he played that part, it was Doctor Who. It was very doctorish,
about that. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about that.
He has his companion, right?
Mm-hmm. True, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has a companion, just like the Doctor, and Arthur Dent is his companion. Obviously, it's a guy, not a girl, but still, I think he would be cool in that part. He's a great actor too, by the way, Mos Def. Really, really great actor. I liked the movie though. I thought the movie was really, really cool. And Warwick Davis is in it. Anytime you can get a job for Warwick Davis, I'm cool.
Well, I mean, the way that they conceived, everything, I mean, gosh, I can't remember the way that the ship traveled across the universe. I can't think of the drive that it had.
Improbability drive.
I love the way that they showed that.
Yeah.
And so I do. I mean, I think that is probably the way the universe actually works. Very, very much like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Do you think that if they blew up the planet accidentally, they could rebuild it like they did? Because the builders just rebuild it again.
Well, Doctor Who restarted the universe. So,
he rebooted the universe. Yeah,
that's
he did.
Right. That's right.
So,
and it's funny, they actually called it rebooting the universe when he did it.
Stranger things have been known to happen in this universe.
That's right.
Indeed. What do you guys think of Sam Rockwell, by the way, as Zaphod Beeblebrox?
Zaphod Beeble. I liked him better in True Blood, and I was really impressed with him in the movie Moon.
Okay, but did you like him as Zaphod Beeblebrox?
No.
Man, you're a Debbie Downer tonight. Jesus.
Well, okay. I like the way that he portrayed the character. I like the way that they portrayed his second head, which it definitely was
hysterical.
It was a lot better than the BBC version,
Yes.
Which face it, they didn't have the funds. So.
It was the BBC.
Yeah. Right.
It's all their fault. Actually, you know what I would have liked to have seen from the BBC actually turned into a movie? What is it, Day of the Tripods? Or the movie, the series Tripods.
Did the BBC do that one?
I think it was BBC.
Was it? I'm not sure. I don't remember even seeing
Either that or it was CBC, Canadian. I think it was BBC, though.
Their budget must be even lower than the BBC's. Jeez.
Well, actually...
We pay you Canadian bacon, eh?
Didn't Canada Broadcasting or one of the subsidiaries do Lex?
Yeah, they did a good job on Lex.
Yeah, Lex.
Farscape.
Right.
Had... don't forget, the entire Stargate stuff, all of it was pretty much filmed in Vancouver. So was the Highlander series.
So was Smallville.
So
a lot of
is
series
Continuum. Continuum's a great show.
That is a good show, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only recently gotten into Continuum, and it's a really, really good series.
I haven't had a chance to see Continuum yet.
Yeah, half the sci-fi channel lineup is coming out of Canada. All their new
because
shows.
it's cheaper to shoot up there. That's why. I mean,
You're
Smallville,
right, it is.
Yeah, Smallville shot up there because of that.
That's because half of Sci-Fi Channel's lineup is made by Asylum Pictures.
Yeah,
I mean they're based out of California, but they do practically all of their shooting in Canada.
I mean they shoot don't they shoot Arrow, and they did shoot Smallville in Canada. Mm-hmm. I mean Canada's not bad for geek culture movies and
now.
TV shows.
But back when the original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series was on, not so much.
Oh, well, these things happen. Mm-hmm. Actually, I saw a really, really cool TV series from Canada. I'm going to type the name, and you tell me if I could say it online.
Probably not, no. So, let's have dead air on radio.
Okay.
As you type away.
Okay, that's the name of the show, and I think it is hilarious.
Huh.
Yes,
I haven't seen that one.
You can't say it's S, and use your imagination, people. S.
No. Well,
Creek.
Hold on. I could say it because of the way it's spelled. It's S.
No, you could spell it out, but I wouldn't say it on air. Okay.
Creek.
Right. There
Again, folks, it's SCHITTS Creek. It sounds like the Schlitz beer.
Without the L.
That's right.
Right, that's it. It's got a good cast. It has what the hell is
James Vanderbeek?
No.
The cast from Dawson's Creek are all back.
No, it has the father with the scary.
It's gotten really bad for them. That's why it's called that creek.
Okay,
now. It's not.
It's got let's see.
It's gone Schlitz for Dawson. What?
Yeah, it's got Eugene Levy, which is the dad with the scary eyebrows.
I love Eugene Levy. Yeah, well, originally from Second City Television or SCTV. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. It's got him. It's got Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, I know the show you're talking about. I've been wanting to see that one just because it has those two on it.
Oh my God, it is hilarious. I mean, she's the mom from Home Alone. She's had some really, really good stuff in her.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, she did some voice work in Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. You're right. She was in Beetlejuice. It's got Chris Elliott in it.
Nice, he's funny.
Oh yeah,
he's hilarious. He plays the annoying town hillbilly mayor.
I could see him doing that too. Just the thought of him playing that character, I could picture it in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what movie he was in where he played a cripple or something like that.
Wasn't it a Scary Movie?
Yes,
Scary Movie 2.
He had Scary Movie 2. He had like the crippled hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was always wanting to touch everybody with the hand.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. The show is actually a really funny premise. I don't know if I should explain it, but it's really, 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 really funny.
Well, who's showing it? What network is showing it, or cable network or whatever?
It's showing in Canada. I don't know if anybody in the States is showing it. See, like I said, I legitimately download most of my shows. It's on poptv.com. Wednesdays, it's Pop TV. I don't know what channel that is on whose cable, but it's on Wednesdays at 10 p.m., 9 Central. And I'll tell you, I cannot stop laughing at this show.
With a cast like that, I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a good portion of them are Second City, not
alumni.
leftovers.
Yeah, alumni.
Alumni, not leftovers. That's not the right word I want to use.
Survivors.
Survivors, yeah. That's actually a much better way of putting it. Yeah, man. There was so much talent that came out of that.
God, yeah.
That show.
Amazing. How much of Second City ended up being on Saturday Night Live?
Well, yeah, tons of it. Yeah, I mean, literally, Saturday Night Live would not be what it is if it wasn't for Second City.
Yeah, I have no idea what this has to do with the UFO phenomenon, except for Dan Aykroyd is involved in the UFO phenomenon, how we got there 70 degrees of separation. So,
but I love the way you tied that back. I love the way you tied back everything together with that. But I love that.
Thank you. Okay, so Tim, what is going on in the wonderful world of your neck of the woods of the UFO phenomena and
Conspiracy Journal?
You didn't let me get to say that part, but I was.
Yeah, because I wanted to say that. It sounds cool when I say it. Go ahead, Tim.
Conspiracy Journal. Dun dun dun.
See, it just sounds much better when I say it. Look, let me say it. Here it goes. Hold on. Conspiracy Journal.
Dun dun.
That just makes me laugh. Actually, it should be said. Conspiracy Journal. Everything that they don't want you to know.
You sounded a little bit like Mike Mott there for a second. You two been hanging out a little too much there, Tim.
Well, Mike Mott minus the southern accents.
Right.
Yeah, rather I just have this, that's absolutely accentless Midwestern accent.
Yeah, let's not go Middle Eastern there. Ixnay on the Middle Eastern stuff there. The other guy here got into a little trouble a few weeks ago with the Middle Eastern stuff, and shout out to our Middle Eastern fans. We love them.
I'm going to skip and pass, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one. So.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Okay, so what is new and cool in the world of UFOs
happening?
And conspiracies? Well, absolutely nothing. That's it.
Oh, okay, great.
All right, folks, we're done. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that's all right. Good night, everyone.
It's a wrap. No, seriously, what's the latest in Conspiracy Journal? I mean, has there been any updates recently? Oh
yeah, well, the Conspiracy Journal newsletter, it comes out every week. So I mean, there's always something interesting. I mean, I've got stringers all over the world who send me stuff every day. I mean, I get up in the morning and my email box is exploded sometimes. A lot of times people will send me the same stuff. Kind of
like the a-hole issue, right? It gets clogged up and then it gets backed up and it's just terrible. And it spews and you got the DH-RIA. Like, nobody wants that.
Well, there was the case in Utah where, the mother and her baby drove off a bridge and the mom died and the baby was still
calling out of.
Yeah,
I heard about that one. That was
that couple days after that happened, and it started coming out that the rescuers had heard like a woman crying for help when they were approaching the car. Well, that next morning is like I had about 30 or 40 different versions from all kinds of different news sources around the world. So then you got to go and kind of vet. Each one of those to try to find the one that seems to be the most accurate. So, I mean, those are the kind of stories. The issue that I just put out Sunday, that one seemed to be like the all ghost issue. I mean, I had just like a bunch of ghost stories that came in, and I know this is Skywatchers, and not that interested in ghosts and things. Well,
here's the thing. We do have a theory working here, Tim, that it's all interconnected, and that what people might be mistaking for ghostly activity might be visitations from alien visitation.
Yeah, now see, I kind of tend to go the other direction, that alien visitation. That's right.
Yeah,
that's just the kind of guy I am.
So, what's your take? That alien visitation are ghosts?
Well, no. I mean, I do think that probably that at least some aspects of the UFO phenomena probably is extraterrestrial in origin, but I think that a lot of it may be along the lines of what we would call paranormal, and who knows what paranormal is. I mean, everything that we call paranormal, supernatural, stuff like that is just science that we haven't run across yet. So, it could be that, say, like UFOs are extraterrestrial, but are using a propulsion system that to us would seem like the paranormal. What's the guy's name?
Here's a far leap for you guys, and follow along here with me.
Okay.
What if aliens in another planet, right? They're not of this planet, but they're in our physical realm, in our dimension. But in their planet, the beings that live on that planet resemble what we would call a ghost, and they are in a sense not physical like we are, but beings that do travel through space and time, maybe light beings of sorts, but are from a world within our dimension, within our 3D reality. And they're here investigating this peculiar life form on this little blue dot in the cosmos.
Hey, that works for me. That's
just a speculation.
Hey, well, I mean, it isn't everything. I mean, when it comes to stuff like this, it's all just speculation. I mean, you get these people, that they have these websites. It's like, yes, we absolutely know that there are 200 alien species visiting the planet Earth.
57 species of extraterrestrials. Really? Why 57? Why not 50?
Yeah, and it says like, anybody who comes to me and says that they have the definitive answer to any of this stuff, I'm just like, yeah, right.
Liars.
Yeah.
Liars.
Well, the truth is, and we've discussed this in length. You, I, Mike, even the other guy here has been part of some of this discussion. We've all agreed that really within the world of ufology and everything in the paranormal, really in the entire genre of paranormal and ufology, both genres, there's very little to almost no evidence whatsoever to base any of it in reality. Evidence just doesn't exist. I mean, we haven't had a ghost captured and locked away like the Ghostbusters. That's never happened. So we've never proven the ghosts are real. We just have stories. Aliens?
Well,
we haven't captured one publicly yet that we know of.
We haven't captured one physically, but we have gathered enough audio, video, and photo evidence as well as scientific
photos. Photos that can be doctored and manipulated. Audio that could be anything. I mean, even some EVP stuff that I've heard in the past. I'm like, could be anything. It could be an echo from the other room. It could be a bunch of different things. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a spirit trying to communicate. And most of the time, the communication and a lot of these EVPs don't really answer anything in particular back. It's just random words or random things that are said. So it could easily be somebody just playing.
Not necessarily so.
There's been some cases where there'd be a laughter when a question's asked or so, but nothing really as concrete as you would say. Well, what's your name? Billy Bob! That's never happened. None like that.
Actually, I'm sorry, but yeah, there has been some instances of
Prove it.
Well, if you want, we'll take this offline and I'll give you a nice little list of things that you could watch. Or, you know what? We could take you to a house in South Florida.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
You stay there overnight.
When you say, hold on. When you say that you could show me some stuff on YouTube that it'll show me some evidence of this, I don't believe any other stuff I see on YouTube anymore. All that stuff could be easily manipulated. Now, will I stay in a haunted house? Yes, I would, because I actually lived in a house that has activity. I don't know what kind of activity. I was a kid. I was not of age to understand what was going on, but I do remember seeing some things slide from one end of the counter to another. Things just jumped out of chairs apparently out of nowhere. I did see a couple different things which made me say, what the hell is that? But I never really put two and two together because I was like 5. But I hear stories from my brother. I've heard stories from my father and mother who were completely freaked out and moved out of this home because of what they experienced. But I didn't experience anything like bashing, over the head by an object from a ghost or tugging on my bed sheets at night or anything really physical. Like I never really experienced it personally, but I did see a couple things slide around. One thing flew off a chair. But again, that could have been anything. It could have been my overactive imagination as a kid, for all we know.
Hang on, I gotta wake up. I'm sorry.
But if you have a house that is legitimately haunted, yes, I would go and spend the night there. I'm not afraid of it.
Okay, but
we can arrange that. Hang on.
Let's make that happen. I would love to be part of that.
The point I want to make with this is that, I mean, you may actually experience all this stuff. I mean, I know I have. I mean, you may, actually see, full-bodied apparitions, like dancing in front of you and all of that. Who's to say that is because, the popular interpretation is, that's a spirit of somebody who's passed away. Says who?
Right.
It could be anything, and I don't mean anything. I mean, it's not like a Scooby-Doo, cartoon where the old guy next door.
Scoob. Yeah. What is that, Scoob?
Where the old guy next door knows that there's gold buried underneath your house, and it's like
I would have gone away with it too. It wasn't for you pesky kids, meddling kids.
By the way, the new Poltergeist movie's coming out.
Yeah, it looks great too. By the way,
I've seen trailers to that, so I'm interested in seeing it. But what I'm saying is, just because it's a paranormal phenomenon doesn't necessarily mean it has to be, spirits of the dead or extraterrestrials.
No. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that, but what I am arguing is that science and recording technology is finally at a stage where we can record we might not be able to explain what it is, but we can record the anomalies in the environment through photo, video, audio, and scientific data recording.
And unfortunately, I've yet to see anything that tells me, yep, that's a ghost.
Yep. Oh, and they've been able to do that for a long time. In Europe, especially in the 1980s and early 1990s, they had the whole. We have EVPs here. They had the was ITC. I can't remember what it stood for. But it was video recordings.
Oh, the camera in the camera, or the camera in the TV and the TV in the TV.
Right, stuff like that. Well, and I mean, it went so far as people were getting telephone calls, from supposedly discarnate entities. I mean, we're not just talking about little snatches of voices, on a bad cheap video digital recorder, things like that. I mean, these guys were getting full conversations, recorded, and like I said, video transmissions and things like that. Now,
yeah, but how do we know any of that is legit, though? That's
Exactly. Well, we don't, and it may not be hoaxed on a physical level. I mean, all these people who did this may have been absolutely,
It's demons. It's demons. I tell you, praise the Lord. It's demons. It's demons.
Thank you, Jesus. It's funny though, because my theory has been that all along, throughout history, aliens have been misidentified through the eons as ghosts, leprechauns, demons, goblins, whatever. And I still do think, look, if that 1% that they have over us, gives them some kind of a crazy ability, what if, the Greys or whatever aliens are out there do have an ability to make us, not see them when they're in our presence, and maybe we only catch a tiny little glimpse of them as they move around or something, and that's what we think is ghostly activity. And it's just like a shadow, or like the shadow people. Remember that from Ghost? Or it's like a wind or a light or any little object that what do you call it? A little sphere or whatever, or one of those green traffic lights. Who the heck knows? An orb or whatever. That's what I think of. So who the heck, knows? I mean, but what if that's part of the technology, or part of, not the technology, but part of the evolution these beings have, where they can manifest this kind of ability in front of us pesky human beings, and that's how they get around us and do whatever they do to us, and we don't even know that they're there. Or what if, like the silence on Doctor Who, once we turn around, we forget they're even there. That we even saw them.
Well, Dr. Leo Sprinkle, who was into the whole UFO thing for many
long time.
Years.
Yeah.
He believes, and I guess that he's had some, people who allegedly, have had, contacts with extraterrestrials, that the propulsion system that these things use is, like a hyperspace or interdimensional propulsion system, but it actually travels through the planes that we would refer to, in spiritual jargon as like the astral planes. The place that supposedly our souls go to when we
the
pass
neither
away.
Region.
The neither region, yeah.
Right.
And that these creatures, I mean, all the since they easily can navigate these areas, are also very familiar with, I guess, our passed on loved ones and things like that. And that's one of the reasons why when a lot of people who have, especially like abduction experiences or things like that, the aliens are very knowledgeable about these people's past, present, and futures, as well as their loved ones who have passed on. I mean, there's been cases where these, like the Big Eyes or the Nordics or what have you, will tell them, yeah, we saw your dead Uncle Charlie, and he said, tell you hi and to lie back and think of the pretty flowers as we probe you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uncle Charlie. Even after death, you're probing me.
That's
Bastard.
right.
Wait, Uncle Charlie, how'd you get into heaven? You were probing me when you were alive.
Oh, that's just wrong.
Oh, that's right. You work for the church. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's a good one. Huh? You like
That's gonna hurt.
that? Sorry, religious folks. It's true.
better than a blast from the a-hole. So.
Well, it's a blast, all right, against the church. But, it's funny, though, that the theory, I think, holds water, though. But what if, for example, and it's a good theory by Dr. Sprinkle, but what if, for example, we're dealing with beings in a different dimension, not the neither region, but like a higher dimension, maybe the fifth dimension, like in Interstellar? I mean, that's possible also. I mean, the thing is, anything is possible. That's the point here.
Question is if that's the case, how do they have such specific knowledge about people that they're interacting with?
Oh, that's very easily answered. If they're dealing, if we're dealing with beings on a different dimension, okay, they might not operate on the same kind of space and time that we do. Maybe to them, space and time is not a linear thing. It's happening all at once, and they can pull information from wherever they want and use it as they will, as they need to. I mean, who knows what these beings are like in another dimension? If there even is another dimension, even that's still a theory. The thing is, and this is where I get to, and I always bang my head against the wall because it's so frustrating. It's all theories. Everything.
Right.
None of it is provable. Not even string theory is provable. That's why it's called string theory.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing certain things with quirks and certain things with, the collider.
Quirks and quarks and
we're seeing certain things that it makes us believe that maybe there could be, but we still can't prove it. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sad, but it's true. It's a sad statement of science, but a lot of these scientists get paid millions of dollars. Well, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them maybe millions. I don't know. But they get paid a lot of money is the basic point here. And for the last 100 years, have they done anything other than come up with theories, most of these guys, most of these people? No. It's just it's just theories when it comes to this stuff. Nothing is ever provable. I mean, it's sad but true. And you would think somebody like Stephen Hawking has an awful lot of time on his hands to think about this stuff and have it written down.
Yeah, well, surprise.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, it would really surprise me if sometime, in my lifetime that, the extraterrestrials do land on the White House lawn or whatever. I kind of have the feeling that the whole UFO phenomena is just always going to remain just out of our reach. I don't know. I mean, the way that the phenomena interacts with people and has interacted with, humanity from the very, very beginning, it just always seems like we're gonna grasp it, we're gonna get a hold of it, tomorrow, it's just and then it changes and moves away and becomes slightly different. And then we're back to we're back to the beginning again. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that is just part of the guiding force. Well, or maybe it's how we evolve. maybe there's something built into the universe that does stuff like that too. It's just kind of like a giant cosmic, I can't say that on the air, but just
a cosmic poop shoot.
Yeah, but it keeps us continuously moving forward, kind of like a shark. If we don't move forward as a species, we're going to die.
Right.
I don't care what the Republicans say. We can't go back to the way it used to be. We got to keep moving forwards. And
right.
I think that there may be a guiding force in the universe, maybe not even intelligent like like we think of as intelligence, but for some reason it continuously prods us to evolve and to move forwards. We're not.
Well, you can even say that's human nature, though. You can say that's human nature to just want to move forward and evolve, and it's a curiosity that we have as a species.
But there seems to be an outside force too that prods us along, and right now we're seeing it in the form of UFOs and extraterrestrials. But 200 years ago, it was seen as angels or demons or what have you, and supernatural elements. 200 years from now, who knows how it will manifest itself? It'll be just as big a mystery 200 years from now as the UFO mystery is to us now.
I hope not.
It'll just change. People will probably look back and say, "Hey, the 20th and 21st century idiots. They believe that UFOs are from other planets.
They believed the planet was round."
That's right. Well, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean it's not?
Who knows? It might. Watch this. 200 years from now, there is going to be a hollow Earth fact, not a hollow Earth theory.
That's possible. Actually, didn't they determine the planet's not round exactly? It's more like a
egg-shaped.
Shape?
Egg-shaped,
egg-shaped. Yeah, exactly. It's not a sphere exactly, but close enough, I guess.
Well, if you took the water off, someone actually did the modeling. It's definitely not round with the water. We look like a freaking asteroid without water.
Right, which makes sense.
The only thing that's really spherical, funny as it is the moon, which always lends to the question of is that artificial or not?
Uh-huh.
That's come up again. That's been making the rounds this week, on some of these news services.
I saw a posting about that recently, where they had like a diagram of what the inside of the moon would look like if it was some kind of a base or ship. Is that what you're talking about?
That's no moon; it's a Death Star.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, you think about how the moon orbits the planet. And the way that it's positioned so that it always just keeps one face, one side facing the Earth, and that it is just at that perfect spot that when it creates a solar eclipse, it completely covers, the sun.
And it's hang on. Also, don't forget, it is the only moon in the entire solar system that acts this way as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
and
it's possible.
And compared to its planet, it's the largest moon in the entire solar system.
And you know what the scariest part of it all, guys? George Bush and Reagan wanted to have the Star Wars program, which would put lasers on the moon, like the Death Star, to blow up planets, perhaps. Huh? There goes Alderaan. Such a peaceful planet.
See, guys, I've been traveling to Alderaan places.
Yes, you have. I've been looking for love in Alderaan places. But anyway, we're almost out of time. We got to wrap up here in a couple minutes.
Oh,
why'd you have to go there? Go back to planet. Go back to planet Pluto. There.
Okay.
I didn't even know how to come back to that. But anyway, we're almost out of time, everybody. We got to wrap up. In fact, before we do, Tim, I want to give you again, as always, the opportunity to plug the websites, the show, all that stuff, and we're going to have you back on soon, my friend, because you're always cool to chat with here on the show. So plug away.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, I'll do our radio show first. It's The Outer Edge. heard on the PSN radio network with myself and Mike Mott Sunday nights at midnight. And of course, there's the Conspiracy Journal newsletter. You can go to my website, conspiracyjournal.com, and sign up for it. It's absolutely free, and we'll send you, the newsletter by email. So just sign up and enjoy.
Very, very, very cool. Very cool. Tim, thanks so much for being on the show, especially last minute like that. It's always cool of you to do that.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
You're the man. Yeah, he is. No, he really is. He's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
He is the man. Guys, we're all out of time here. We're going to be back next week live with Robert Luca and Betty Luca. Again, they were supposed to be on this week. A little mix-up happened, but they're going to be on with us next week. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to love that show, so please come back and listen. Now stick around for more Dark Matter Radio Network and PSN Radio. As always, I'm Angel. That's the other guy. That's Tim. And this is Skywatchers Radio that you're listening to. Have a great night, and by all means, have a dream about space. And if you're having a dream about space, make sure the other guy is not making funny accents.
I will make sure not to do that. Come on. That's just cool.
Even in your dreams, he's going to have funny accents.
Thank you. Fine. Beat up.
Guys, it was a lot of fun. See you next
it was
week.
a great show. Have a good night.
Comment to that, my friend.
I'm back to buying a vowel. That just does not.
There you go. So I think that Stephen Hawking's, I think he has a very good point. Myself, I kind of like to think of the universe more along the lines of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
I mean, that's
the way of seeing it.
Yeah. To me, that's how I think the universe probably actually operates. So, if the Earth is discovered by another species, then the planet will probably be blown out of existence to put in a hyperspace highway. Yeah. So,
of course,
we had 4 eons to the council to object.
They had a petition. It went through councils, and when they got stamped and double stamped, and we weren't privy to it. So.
Yeah, the notice has been hanging up for
we didn't get the memo.
5 centuries now. So I mean, it's your responsibility to keep up with these things, humans. So
it's all our fault. Yeah.
How did you guys like that movie, by the way, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because I remember that comment, and in fact, I have an article here where it says, world-renowned scientist Stephen Hawking believes extraterrestrial life almost certainly exists, and humans should be extremely cautious about this and about interacting with it. And he says, to my mathematical brain, the numbers alone make thinking about aliens perfectly rational, said Hawkins, right? But he suggests that aliens might simply raid Earth for its resources and then move on. We only have to look at ourselves and see how intelligent life might develop into something that we wouldn't want to meet, he says. I imagine they might exist in massive ships, having used up all their resources from their planet. Such advanced aliens would perhaps become nomads looking to conquer and colonize whatever planet they could reach.
Does this sound like Independence Day?
Kinda. He concludes that trying to make contact with an alien race is a little too risky. He said, if aliens ever visited us, I think the outcome would be much like when Christopher Columbus first landed in America, which didn't turn out too well for the Native Americans. That's the quote from Dr. Stephen Hawking. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it. Theory of Everything is phenomenal. Watch that movie. It's a great movie. But now we are going to welcome our very good friend, Tim Swartz, onto the show. Tim, welcome to Skywatchers Radio, my friend. How are you? How have you been? It's been so long since we've spoken. Not really. But how are you, my friend?
It seems like, I don't know, weeks.
Months.
Years.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hours.
That's right.
Hours, actually, maybe minutes.
It's been centuries since we have spoken last.
What do you think of this article by Stephen Hawking, this comment by Stephen Hawking? I personally think he's on the money. I think it's a legit, rational way of thinking, but of course I do want to see aliens come down and land on the White House lawn. I want to see something like that one day. I want disclosure, gosh darn it. But what do you think when you read something like that from like a person like Stephen Hawking?
Well, I think he has a good point. I mean, you just have to look at our own history on this planet, and any time that you have a more advanced society encroaching on new lands where there's indigenous people who maybe aren't quite ahead of the game, then the indigenous population doesn't hang around for too long. And not by choice, they're soon overwhelmed and taken over and exploited, and if they're not just right out killed, they're assimilated into the society. I mean,
right. Look at the Taino Indians. Remember them?
Well,
no, you don't. No, you don't. The people, because they've been gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the Spaniards who came over and. Well, they raped and pillaged and took the women and killed the men. That's kind of what happened. And
that's
now
right.
we have
Pillage
now
the
we
women,
have
rape the land. Pillage the women, rape the land.
something like that.
Oh.
Now, because of that incident, we have what we call Latinos.
Okay.
That's just a little joke, man. It's a little Latino joke.
I don't know how to comment to that.
There is no way to. All right, everybody, welcome back to Skywatchers Radio, live once again, as always, on the Dark Matter Radio Network and PSN Radio. By the way, guys, for the podcast, and I get asked all the time, how can we listen to the podcast? Well, the show is called Skywatchers Radio. If you go to skywatchersradio.com, it's all there for your listening pleasure. In fact, it's free downloads. Go there right now, check out the website, download all the episodes. Immerse yourself in some Skywatchers episodes that you've never heard before. You will love it. If anything, you're going to come out saying that the other guy is kind of funny, but I'm awesome. You're going to say that, for sure.
All right.
Now, Nancy Burns, who's also awesome, by the way, sent me a Skype message a few minutes ago, and she said that, yes, it was Stephen Hawking who made that